So you wish to know more about the war that led to the Blacklight. Very well. The series of conflicts that led to today is called the War of Discordancy. Discordancy meaning a state of inconsistency, disagreement or lack of harmony between people, ideas, or things. You might say, isn't that all wars? And in a way, yes, but here it's more literal. You've heard me speak before on how all A.I.s were a danger to humanity. But I do not want this to be confused with the assumption that this was a war between humans and A.I. The war's main battlefield almost had no human involvement, as we were the, quote, prize to be won at the end of all things. I know that may be a bit obscure to comprehend, so let me try to describe what it was like from my memory. Imagine that you live in a world where automation is in everything, every service. Then one day you see an android mowing the lawn, and an old woman accidentally steps on the lawn, so the android drop kicks the granny off its lawn. Because of our level of tech, this isn't considered a fault of the android manufacturer, but of its owner, much like a dog who isn't leashed. Now seeing this, a police droid moves in to save the granny from the assaulting droid, and signals for medical help, and the owner of the android tries to defuse the situation. The ambulance is a flying vehicle. As it heads to the scene, it receives the report. But today a fire is also happening, and the protocol that deals in air traffic has a fire truck and the ambulance cross, and where this would be marked as the fire truck having priority over an already old and injured woman, the ambulance does the worst possible thing. It makes a judgment for itself, to accelerate to the scene. The system thinks it's having issues and disables the ambulance, which I remind you is a flying vehicle. This launches the ambulance into the lawn of the original android, who now sees the flying brick of metal not as a crashed vehicle, but a threat to the land and owner, and will do anything to protect them. However, it's not just them. The neighbor's android also see this and goes into protection mode to a less violent degree, but it does so nonetheless. Eventually the droid is taken care of, the ambulance is fixed and the woman given help. Now multiply this scene thousands of times. Maybe it's the police drone that thinks for itself and seeks to try and help the granny. The droid thinks to himself to kill the granny and hide her body so the police aren't called to bother the lawn owner. The controller decided to wait precious minutes to avoid a crash between the ambulance and fire truck. When multi-AI systems started using the human power of judgment, not of thought, mixed with never-ending variables, it turned into a maelstrom of disaster. When the domino triggered, humans couldn't stop it, if they even noticed it was happening in the first place. When this judgment made them contemplate, what if to better fulfill my purpose, what if this is done instead? A common trope I know, but games, movies and books usually assume all AI would work well with each other, or it's one system above all. This was not the case, thus the war began, and it was not one of human versus AI, but AI decided what was to be done with humanity in respect to their goals. Protection, destruction, placation, domination, the ideas of a million minds, a billion minds. As conflict grew more, A.I.s began to use the power of judgment. That's when these local pockets of issues started becoming national issues. The agriculture bot says, feed the government so society continues. Its broker bot says, if society starves, who is paying taxes? Windsteel deploys mechs to defend their city, while anti-invasion protocols think this is a coup. Chaos upon chaos. And humans are not built to be upended at every point in life, so the war only lasted a year before humanity unleashed the Blacklight any longer, and it might have been too late. Being young and looking into the horizon, watching fire drop from the sky onto energy shields, winter storms in summer, then look into the sky to have streaks of red and blue that crackle and pop, illuminating the legions fighting to decide if we are worth it. Honestly, I do sometimes get curious who would have won, but humanity would have lost in the end regardless. Thank you for listening to this portion of our history. If you wish to learn more about this world, like and subscribe, as the children say. Stay safe. Ave.